Hello guys, what's up? This is Morteza and welcome to another episode of my design patterns tutorial in C#. In this episode, we are going to talk about the factory method design pattern. As the name suggests, this design pattern helps us implement a factory in a way that you can choose different factories which produce products. Now, suppose in your application, you are working with laptops, right? So you have an application in which you keep track of different laptops that you have, for example, in your inventory. And there are different manufacturers like, I don't know, Asus or HP and so on and so forth, which produce laptop computers. Now, in the UI of your application, you want to allow the user to select which type of these manufacturers he or she want to, for example, work with or query from the database. You can implement this using the factory method design pattern. The factory method design pattern, as I already told you, helps you to have a factory, and that factory produces different products. And now you can have a wide range of factories and a wide range of products. And these products are going to get produced by these factories, and in the output the user can choose which factory to work with. Now, in order to implement this design pattern in C#, I have already added another project to my solution. It is called factory method design pattern, and in the program.cs file I have nothing. I have no code here. Let me just save all and close these two files. Now, first off, obviously we need to have a factory. So I'm gonna go on and add a class, and I'm gonna call this factory. Now, suppose we want to have different factories, right? And in order to have different factories, it is a good idea to have an abstracts based class like factory base, which different factories can implement. So I'm gonna make this class public and abstract, right? And I'm gonna call it factory base, and I'm gonna rename the file to factory base, right? So I can have different factories now. For example, I can have, I don't know, like let me call this factory method base or factory base. Factory base will do. I can have, for example, let me call it, let's say, laptop factory base. And I can have different laptop factories, like, for example, HP laptop factory, which is going to, inherit from laptop factory base. And we can have Samsung or Asus laptop factory, right? So we can have different factories which all inherit from this factory base. Now, these factories will produce some products, right? So we will probably need a product class, a product based class. So let me go on and add a product class. I'm going to call it product base, and this will be again a public abstract base class, and I can have now different products. For example, I can have public class, I don't know, Asus model 123, which inherits from product base, and another one for Asus, for example, 456, model 456, and another one for HP, for example, model XNL, and another one for HP as well, OPM. So we have a product base, which is the base class for different products, and these products are going to get produced by our factories, right? So we have different factories like HP Laptop Factory and ASUS Laptop Factory. Now let me just move these types to their own class. Move type to HP Factory.cs and this one as well. Now we, for example, in different factories that we have here, we need a method to call in order to create our products. For example, in HP Laptop Factory, we need a create method, which we can, for example, pass a parameter to, specifying the model that we want. For example, we want OPM model, and that factory, HP Laptop Factory, at runtime will produce a new instance, a new object of that class. And the same thing goes for ASUS Laptop Factory. Again, we need a create method here, which takes in a parameter specifying, the model of the laptop that we are looking for. And then that class will produce that instance, that, object of that type. Now, because both of these, classes, both of these factories need a create method, I'm going to create that create method in my laptop factory base. One of the most important reasons for us, for creating this abstract class is to put in the common functionality of our, different factories in here. So I'm going to, create a public abstract method called, let's say, which is going, of course, to, return the product base. The product base is the base class for different products. I'm going to call this create laptop. And I'm going to take in, the laptop model. Now, in my subclasses, laptop factory base, I'm going to, implement this abstract class. And in here, again, I'm going to, implement this class. So now in our create laptop for, HP Laptop Factory, which is going to return a product base, which is in turn the base class for our different products, we are going to have a switch statement, and we will switch on this model property. Now, we are going to switch on this model, and we are going to, for HP, we had these two, models, right? These two models. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to, say, so if case is HP model, then you are going to return a new HP yes, this one, right? By the way, the model, if the model is X and L, you're going to return a new instance of this class. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to say break. I'm going to say break. And if the model is OPM, we want a new, instance of the HP model OPM class. And for default, for example, we can, throw a new argument exception, and we're going to say, let's say, name of model. This is the complete implementation of this, create laptop model for our HP Laptop Factory. And the same thing will happen in our ASUS Laptop Factory. So for ASUS, we had these two types, right? Okay, we're going to say for ASUS, if the model is 123, I want a new type of ASUS model 123, and the same thing for the next model. Now, the beauty of this implementation is that, as I told you, at runtime, you can have different factories producing different models of laptops based on, for example, an input that you get from the user. Not only that, but adding new factories is also very easy. So if you want, for example, to add another company which produces laptop computers, you do not need to make changes to your existing code. This is one of the solid principles, right? Open-close principle. For adding new features, you shouldn't make changes in your existing code. You need to add new codes. Now, let me go in here. And what I want to do is to just, move these types. And of course, I can have different properties in each one of them. I can have some common properties in the product base. We're not going to do that at the moment. Now, suppose in the future, I want to add a new, factory. For example, I want to add Microsoft as a laptop producer. So I'm going to say Microsoft laptop factory. It is going to be a public class, right? And it will inherit from laptop factory base, and it will, implement this class. And for, Microsoft, we are going to have different classes. We're going to have, for example, Microsoft Model Ultra, which is going to inherit from our product base, right? And another one we will have Light. So in order to add new features, in order to add a new factory, I didn't have to change my existing code. I just added new code. Now for Microsoft, I can again go to, let's say, HP. Let's go to this code. And I'm gonna, go to Microsoft. And I'm gonna say if the model for Microsoft is Ultra, I need to return this type, a new instance of that type. If it is Light, I'm gonna return this, right? So that's it. Now I'm gonna extract these, put them into their own files. And now in order to, check how all this setup works, I'm gonna write some examples. I'm gonna have a laptop. Let me just add a using statement here. Using factory method design pattern, right? So I'm gonna say a laptop factory base. It's Microsoft, and it is Microsoft laptop factory, right? So I'm just creating a new instance of Microsoft laptop factory, and then I want a laptop. I can say, okay, I need a product base, which is called, new laptop from Microsoft. And it is Microsoft.create Ultra. And then I can, for example, say, give me the type of this in the output. Now let me run this. And in the output, as you can see, we have a new laptop computer using Microsoft as a factory, and the model is Ultra. So as you saw, adding new factories will be a breeze, and you can, specify the model that you want in the input, and the output will be exactly the type you are looking for. So that was how to implement the factory method design pattern. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video as much as I have enjoyed creating it. If that's the case, please make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and share this video with your friends, and leave a comment in the comment section and tell me if you have already used this pattern in your projects, or if you know any use cases of this pattern. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.